Hey everyone, in this longer Vinyasa practice, we are going to work into a couple of peak poses that focus on opening through the hips and the side bodies. In particular, we're focusing on our birds of paradise, which is a standing balance. We also have our Surya Yantrasana, our Sundial Pose, and our Ashtavakasana, our 8-angle pose. Now, we haven't practiced this 8-angle pose in a while. It is an arm balance, but it ties in really nicely with what we're doing today. So I thought it would be fun to play with. Before we begin, I wanted to bring in this quote from a book that I'm reading at the moment, which has nothing to do with yoga philosophy. It's a historical fiction. It's called Shōgun. You might have heard of it before. It's quite a famous book and it's been turned into a TV series. It's set in Japan in the 1600s. And as I was reading it, there was a part that stood out to me and I was like, oh, this is so relevant to what we practice in yoga. So I'll just read the quote now, and it's a woman speaking to another woman. Always remember, child, that to think bad thoughts is really the easiest thing in the world. If you leave your mind to itself, it will spiral you down into ever-increasing unhappiness. To think good thoughts, however, requires effort. This is one of the things that discipline, training is about. So train your mind to dwell on the sweet perfumes, the touch of the silk, tender raindrops against the shoji, the curve of this flower arrangement, the tranquility of dawn. Then, at length, you won't have to make such a great effort, and you will be of value to yourself, a value to our profession, and bring honor to our world. And I thought that was really special in the way that it introduced discipline as not necessarily doing the really obvious things that are hard, such as, I don't know, waking up super early, doing a really long meditation or a long asana practice, or, doing cold plunges. Discipline, however, can be the small things, really subtle things, like choosing a different thought, knowing when to pull ourselves out when we've gone a little bit too far down a path that doesn't quite serve us, and knowing or asking ourselves to shift down a different pathway. So we'll kind of bring this into our practice today. So let's begin in a seated position. Now, if you had a block, 2 blocks in particular, bring that in. It might be useful towards the end of our practice, as well as a strap. If you don't have a strap, then you can use like a dressing gown strap or a towel. Again, this will be quite useful as we head into our peak poses. I will be using the blocks to sit up on to at the beginning, but if you don't have them, then you can, sit up on a chair or sit on the ground. You can even lie down. This is your practice. Once you've found a comfortable seat, doesn't have to look like me, let's close down the eyes. Find a tall spine, so stacking the shoulders on top of the hips, stacking the head on top of the shoulders, hands resting in the lap or towards the knees. And then if you haven't already, it might feel comfortable to close the eyes down. Beginning to notice the breath, watching it as it comes in through the nose and out through the nose. Letting this kind of bring a wave of presence. As soon as we close our eyes down, there's something that happens in our brain that allows us to observe. to watch, to notice what's going on right now. And it might not feel easy to begin with, and in fact, it might feel really jarring. You might notice that your mind is really busy, but it encourages this state of introspection. And what I find really important when I'm teaching yoga is that not only do we see this practice as a training of our body, it's potentially even more importantly a training of our mind. And I'd like to offer some affirmations before we begin our physical practice as a way to potentially align our intention a little more. You can take them or leave them, but if they do resonate with you, feel free to repeat them a few times in your mind. I aim to be non-judgmental and non-attached to any thoughts, feelings, or memories that arise. I am willing to notice if thoughts start to become unhelpful. I am open to choosing a new pathway that serves me better. And as we sit and let these resonate, let's deepen the breath. Inhaling through the nose, filling up the belly, the ribs, and the chest. As we exhale, letting the breath out through the nose or the mouth, maybe clearing some energy that feels a little stuck. And as you return to nasal breathing, you might constrict the back of the throat for your Ujjayi pranayama. Creating that wave-like sound, helping to slow our breath down. Okay, let's open our eyes. If you have a strap nearby, bring that in. It might feel more comfortable to come into a kneeling position. Feel free to stay on the blocks if you are there with me. Take your hands down the strap so they're quite wide, and then take some circles around with your arms. So opening through the chest, and for me I'm finding this quite easy, so what I might do is take my hands in a little more. We want to try keep the arms long. If you're noticing your elbows bending quite a bit as you come over, then you need to take them a little wider. Okay, let's just try a couple more. We will be opening through the shoulders quite a bit for our birds of paradise. We will be finding an arm bind, and with our Sundial Pose, it requires quite a bit of length through the lats. So we will be opening these parts of the body as well. Lift the arms above the head, take a deep breath in, lift tall, draw the rib cage in. As you exhale, lean over to the right. Pull your right hand down, lift your left hand up. Inhale, come back through center. As you exhale, left hand towards the ground, right hand high. A few more times in your own breath. If you didn't have a strap today, that's okay. You can totally do this without the strap. Just bring one hand down to the ground. And you might stick with this. If you felt like something different, when you next lean over to the right, see if you can dive the chest forward. Doesn't have to be a lot. Sweep your hands around, keep tension on the strap, then pull the left hand down, right hand high, and then come back through center. So you'll breathe in, and then you'll exhale to revolve, making this circle. Inhaling to come back through center. Exhaling to hold. So let's go maybe 1 or 2 more each side. Nice. Coming back through center, releasing the strap. If you have a mat, bring it to the back of your mat. We'll be getting that later on. Remove the blocks. You can bring those to the front. Okay, and then make sure that you're sitting on the side of your mat. Okay, so you're facing the side. Let's extend the left foot out. Well, I'm facing the right side of my mat, I should say that. Left foot out to the front. Turn the left toes forward, bend the knee, shift your weight into your left foot a little bit more, so hips towards the ankle. Elbow could come onto the thigh if you felt like a little more. Left hand towards the ground. Right hand could stay down, or you could lift your right hand up high. Take a deep breath in, open your right shoulder back. As you exhale, can you sink a little more? Inhale, come back through center, hips towards the right heel. As you exhale, right hand to the back of the mat, reach your left hand away. So squeeze the glutes, a little push of the hips forward. Let's try that a couple more times in our own breath. Inhaling, lowering the hips down, turning the left toes forward. As you exhale, shift your weight, lean and reach. Inhale, come back through center, land the hips down. As you exhale, plant the right hand, reach the left hand away. Okay, let's go 2 more times in our own breath. So starting to open through the sides of the body a little more, as well as the adductors, the inner of the legs. The next time your right hand has planted down, hold there. Clasp your left hand into a fist and then roll out the rest. If you felt like a little more, you could plant the left hand, left foot down, lift the right knee off the ground. A little or a lot, but just getting the right arm a little more active, the core more active, swapping directions of the circle with the wrist. And then lowering the right knee down. Sliding the left knee in, coming into your kneeling position again. Right foot to the back of the mat this time. Turn the right toes away. Lift up. Shift your hips towards the right heel. Remember, it might be right elbow down. Could be hand towards the ground. And if you wanted the left arm, you could reach it up and over. Take a deep breath in. Revolve the chest to the left. Exhale, hold. Little squeeze of the glutes. Inhale, lower your hips towards the left heel. As you exhale, land to the left hand, reach the right hand forward. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, 2 shifts. 2 more times. When you're coming back into your modified warrior 2, you're thinking about pushing the right tricep or the right elbow into the thigh. Okay, that's going to help spin the heart. I think I've got about 1 more. Next time your left hand is planted forward, lift your hips, right hand reaches away, clasp your hand into a fist, roll out your right wrist. You might say here, again, if you felt like more, plant the right foot into the ground, hover the left knee off the ground. Swapping directions of the circle. And then lowering the left knee down, grab a block, Lower down onto your hips, again, kneeling. Turn yourself to the front, hips come down, Navasana boat pose. Now, a couple of different options. We can start shins parallel with the ground, maybe the hands are around the thigh. If you felt like a little more, you can grab your block, bring it in between your knees. If you felt like even more, you could take it towards the feet. Okay, and if you felt like even more, you could lift up the toes, hands reach away. Squeezing the shoulder blades back, lifting the chest up. And then if you do have a block in between your legs, can you try squeezing together? And notice how that lights up the inner of the legs. This is going to be really useful when we come into our Ashtavakra, our 8-angle pose a little later on. Can you lift the feet a little higher? Let's go 2 more breaths. Ooh, well done. Bring the block down. Come into downward facing dog. Roll over the feet. Plant the hands down. Tuck onto the toes. Lift the hips up and back. You might like to pedal out your feet here. Dropping one heel down. Dropping the other heel down. Moving the hips around side to side, forward and back. Just moving in a way that feels good for you. As we move today, keep checking in with the mind. We're working through the body to get to the mind, to train it, to find discipline. So if you notice yourself ever checking out, just becoming aware of that, and then encouraging yourself to come back to the body, come back to the breath. Walk your hands towards your feet at the back of the mat. Tuck the chin in, fold forward, Uttanasana. You might like to have a little sway from side to side, relaxing the upper back. And then walk your feet wide. Turn the toes out slightly, Malasana garland pose. Hips towards the heels, lifting the chest up high. Hands could come towards the chest. You might have the arms out. And you might have your hips up a little higher. That's totally okay. A little squeeze to the glutes. Roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to transition between those 2 movements. If you felt like a little more, you could take your peace fingers around your big toes. This can feel quite challenging, so don't force it in the body. Take a deep breath in at the bottom, Malasana. As you exhale, lift your hips up. You might pull on your toes if you have them clasped. Inhale, bend your knees, lift the chest up. Exhale, lift the hips up. Let's go about 3 to 4 more in your own time. Holding it in Uttanasana next time you get there. Keep the feet wide, turn the toes forward though. Find the strap that you left at the back of the mat. Just bring it to your hands and then slowly roll up the spine. Take your time here. Arms are dangling, shoulder blades wide, chin tucked in. Once you get up to standing, take the hands wide again. Squeeze the glutes, breathe in, lift up tall. As you exhale, lean over to the right. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale to the left. You might stick with this, or just like we did before, you'll breathe in. And then as you exhale, you'll come down to the ground through your Uttanasana, your forward fold. And then you revolve to the left and then come back up through center. Couple more in your own breath, alternating right and left. Opening through the spine and the shoulders a little more. Once you've done even on both sides, you'll come back up through standing. Keep the arms over your head. Take a deep breath in. Turn your right toes out slightly. As you exhale, shift your weight into your right foot. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Okay, you could totally keep the arms with the strap. You can lose it at any point. Hips and shoulders square to the front. Come back through center, turn the left toes out slightly. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, shift your weight into your left foot, right foot lifts up. We're gonna see this pose a little later on in our class. Come back through center, hands come down. Just drop the strap to the side. Deep breath in through the nose, squeeze the glutes, lift the arms above your head. As you exhale, bend your knees, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale, hands to shins. As we exhale, hands come down, walk yourself into your plank position. Breathe in, shift your weight forward in your plank. As you exhale, either on your knees or your toes, Chaturanga, tuck the elbows in close to the body, come down onto your belly. Untuck the toes, breathe in for cobra, squeeze the glutes, shoulders roll back. As you exhale, come down, push up onto your knees, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Or child's pose at any point as well. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, roll yourself forward, push away from your ground so you're protracting through your shoulder blades, puffing up through the upper back. Exhale, Chaturanga, option to come halfway this time. Inhale for cobra or maybe upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. As you exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Two more breaths at the back. We're going to start a new sequence, some bigger movements here. Start to bend your knees, look forward, breathe in, step your right foot outside your right hand. As you exhale, step your left foot outside your left hand, lower into Malasana. As you inhale, lift the hips, plant the hands, left foot steps back. As you exhale, down dog, right foot steps back. Okay, let's try the other side. Breathe in, left foot steps forward. Exhale, right foot steps forward, lower the hips. Lift the hips, inhale, right foot. Exhale, left foot. Now you can step with walking. If you felt like a little more, you can practice hopping forward and back. So you'll bend your knees, look forward, you'll breathe in. Hold your breath as you jump. Exhaling to land. Inhale, lift the hips. Hold your breath, plant the hands down. Exhale, land back. If you're jumping, let's do about 3 more. And see how much air time you can get on the way to the front. Okay, I've got one more. Landing in Malasana, forward fold, take an extra breath. Lift the hips up, shift your weight into your right foot, standing splits. Breathe in, left toes sweep high. Exhale, hold. You might take your right hand behind your right calf, pulling your chest a little closer towards the thighs, left foot reaching up even higher. Warrior 2, take a deep breath in as you step your left foot back, land the heel down. As you exhale, open the hands towards the sides. Right toes facing forward, left foot facing the side of the mat. Right knee presses forward so it lands on top of the ankle roughly. Use your next breath in, lengthen your right leg, turn your left toes towards the back corner of your mat. As we exhale, Skandasana, hips towards the left heel, hands to chest. Let's move through those movements a couple more times. Inhale, shift your weight forward, Virabhadrasana 2. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, lift up, turn your left toes. Exhale, sink your hips down. Press the left knee out with your left elbow. Let's go one more of each. Come back into your warrior two. Breathe in. Reach your right hand forward. As you exhale, elbow towards the thigh, left hand reaches towards the front of the mat. Uttita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. If you felt like more straight off the bat, you could reach the right hand towards the ground. You could even find a half bind or a full bind. You'll take your left hand behind the back towards your right hip, and maybe you stay there, or your right hand could turn underneath the thigh, reaching towards the left hand. You do have the strap close by, so if it doesn't quite meet, dangle the strap from the left hand, hold it with the right. If you do get the bind, can you lift up away from your leg, roll your left shoulder back. Let's go, one more breath. Drishti up over the left shoulder. Skandasana to the back of the mat. Breathe in, unwind. Use your hands if you'd like. Exhale, lower the hips down. Look towards the right foot, twisted lunge. Breathe in, shift your weight forward, left hand plants. As you exhale, reach your right hand high. So turn your right shoulder back, left shoulder underneath. Look down to the ground. Scoop your right foot to the outside of the mat. This is where we're gonna get a little funky. Left knee pulls towards the chest. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, you're gonna try kick your left foot forward, lowering your hips down to the ground. So we're going to have our first go with our Surya Yantrasana, our Sundial Pose. Let's go right leg up. So tuck your left foot in. You're going to lift your right knee high, and maybe you kind of rock it around a little bit just to get the hip moving more. From here, what you can do is take your right hand underneath the calf. You're trying to get that right knee as close to the right shoulder as possible. Now, if you did feel like more, and there is no pressure for this to happen, left hand could come around the right foot, right hand comes towards the side. You might kick the right leg away. Okay, this is still, relatively early on in our asana practice, so there's no expectation. If you do get that bind, see if you can pull the left shoulder back, scoop the right shoulder underneath, the right hip might lift off the ground. Let's go, one more breath. Big side stretch for the left side body. If you do get that unwind, it is our right foot that plants down, left foot out, left hand down. We head back to twisted lunge. Breathe in, lift the hips, left knee pulls to chest. As you exhale, step back, right hand lifts up. Okay, a couple of different options. You can lower your left knee down, step your right foot back, modified side plank. Otherwise, lower your left heel down, keep the left knee off, right foot back, Vashisthasana. If you felt like more, right foot could lift off the ground. Let's hold for 3 more breaths here. So strong through the core, squeezing the shoulder blades back. One more breath. Right hand comes down to the ground, breathe in, plank position. Exhale your vinyasa. And if you're wanting a little more rest, you can absolutely skip it out, come to child's pose or downward facing dog. Couple of breaths at the back. One more deep breath in through the nose. Fill up the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Exhale through the nose or the mouth if you want a more clearing breath. Bend your knees, look forward, breathe in, step the left foot outside the left hand. Exhale, step the right foot out, Malasana, garland pose, lift up. Inhale, right foot steps back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Push through the hands, chest towards the thighs. Inhale, right foot steps forward. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Bend your knees. Inhale, left foot steps back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Either walking forward 2 more times or you practice 4 hops. And you might notice the hands getting a little warmer so you can catch the balance a little better. Spreading your fingertips wide on the ground will help you here. Once you've done 4, we'll hold in Malasana. Rolling shoulders back, lifting up the chest. Lift the hips, Uttanasana, breathe in, shift your weight into your left foot, right toe sweep high. Hold for your exhale, standing splits. Left hand could come behind the left calf here, pulling the chest towards the thighs. One more breath. Warrior 2, breathe in, step back, land the right foot down. Adjust your feet as you need, hold for your exhale. Squeeze the shoulder blades down the back. Use your next breath in, lift up tall, turn your right toes away. As you exhale, Skandasana, hips towards the right heel, left toes turn up high to help the external rotation of our hips. Inhale, come back through center, warrior 2. Exhale, land. Couple more times in our own breath. Let's go one more. Coming back to warrior 2. Use your next breath in, reach the left hand forward. You might lower the hips down slightly. As you exhale, elbow to thigh, right hand up and over. It's a squeeze of the glutes. And again, if you're feeling like more, left hand could reach towards the ground. If you wanted to find a half bind, right hand behind the back towards the left hip. Maybe it's the left hand that comes underneath as well, so you find your full bind. Roll the right shoulder away, lift out of your legs, keep pushing through your right foot. This bind is going to feel familiar when we come into our birds of paradise. One more breath. Release the bind, Skandasana to the back. Breathe in, turn the right toes away. Exhale, sink down. Look to your left foot, twisted lunge. Inhale, right hand plants. As you exhale, left hand high. Wiggle your left foot out a little more. Inhale, right knee pulls towards the chest. As you exhale, you try kick it forward, eventually coming down to the ground. Surya Yantrasana on the other side. Tuck the right foot in. Left leg, lift it up, maybe taking a couple of rolls around. And then eventually, you might lift the left hip up slightly, aiming to bring that left knee as close to the left shoulder as possible. Right hand could come around the outside of the left foot. Left fingertips reach away, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, kick the left foot away. Try pull the right shoulder underneath you, keep lifting tall through the lower spine. And this is a real subtle twist as well. Let's go one more breath. Come back through center. It is the right foot that extends out, left foot that plants down. I am so sweaty. Right hand comes down. Lift your hips, create as much of a gate for your right knee to travel through. Step back, lunge. Left hand reaches high. So side lunge, side plank. Right heel might come down or right knee. Breathe in as you step your left foot back. Exhale, hold. Again, option to lift the left foot off the ground if you would prefer. Taking another 2 more breaths here. Left hand comes down to the ground. Inhale, high plank. Shift your weight forward. Exhale, maybe your chaturanga. Inhale, your back bend of choice. Exhale, down dog or child's pose if you felt like a little more rest.
Okay, my friends, we have one more sequence before we get to play even more, using some things that we know and some things that are new. Before we begin to move, let's take about 2 more breaths. From downward facing dog, inhale as you sweep your right toes high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, roll forward, right knee towards the nose. Step the right foot in between the hands, lower the left heel down, warrior 2, breathe in. Exhale. Skandasana, inhale, lengthen the legs, left toes turn away. Exhale, hips down, chest lifted. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. One big hop or a couple of little ones to shift your weight into your right foot. Arms reach wide, right hand reaching down, left hand reaching high. It's a brace of the core, a roll of the left shoulder and the left hip back. Of course, you can anchor your right hand down to a block or the ground if it meets, otherwise you could float it. Let's go one more breath here. Stalk pose to the front of the mat. Inhale as you lift your left knee high. And then as you exhale, take it to the side. Left hand comes behind the left thigh. Right hand could be out to the side or on your hip. You might stay here if you felt like a little bit more. Inhale as you extend your left toes away. Exhale, come back. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, shoulders down. 1 more and then hold. If you wanted even more, hover the left hand off. Whew, it's challenging. Step the left foot in front of the right. Cross-legged standing. Bend your knees, in particular your right one. Take a deep breath in. Lift the hands up, squeeze the glutes, tuck the ribs in. As we exhale, fold forward. At any point, you can uncross your legs and turn this into more of a standard forward fold. Tuck the chin. Hands could come to the blocks as well if they don't quite meet the ground. 1 more breath. Shift your weight into your left foot, standing splits. Inhale, sweep your right toes high. Hold for your exhale. Maybe it's the left hand that comes behind the left thigh, lifting you a little higher with your leg, a little lower with your chest. Inhale, step your right foot back, Virabhadrasana 2. Open to the side. Hold for your exhalation. Okay, extended side angle. Inhale, left hand forward. Exhale, elbow to thigh, right hand over. Now you know your variations. You could go lower, you could find your bind. 1 more option I will offer, something that we've done in the class recently, is bringing the left hand down behind the left foot, either to a block or the ground. Right hand coming around the outside of the left foot. You'll shift your weight into your left hand, breathing in as you extend your left foot forward, turning your right shoulder away, and trying to get your head, just like our Sundial Pose, in that gap. One more breath. I'm shaking like a leaf. Now, traditionally, that asana is done with the left hand on the front of the foot, and then you extend it behind. It's a lot more challenging for the adductors, but you can give that a go if you want. Skandasana to the back of the mat. Breathe in, right toes turn away. Exhale, land. Look forward, twisted lunge. Inhale, right hand plants, turn onto your right toes. Exhale, lift the left hand high. Walk the left foot out again. Push away from the ground with your right hand. Create that big gate, that entryway for your right knee to lift up. Breathing in. Exhale, kick it out in front. Lower yourself down. So this is where we might play with our Ashtavakasana, our 8-angle pose. So we'll set up just like we did before. You'll bring your right knee up towards your chest. You'll try to scoop your right knee up towards the shoulder. But then you'll try and clasp your feet around. So your left foot will come underneath. Right hand and left hand will come down. You'll lift your hips up, tilting your hips, your chest forward, and then you'll try kick your legs out to the side. It's actually easier than it looks, because what you're doing is that you're just bringing weight onto the elbow and the tricep. Once you kind of get that lift up and that lean forward, then you kind of got it. But it's getting the leg up that can be sometimes the hard part. If you needed to stop, rewind, play with that again, you absolutely can. Otherwise, let's bring our left foot down, right foot out in front. We'll have it go on the other side as well. Right hand plants, inhale as you lift the hips, right knee pulls to the chest. Exhale, step back into your lunge. Side plank, breathe in. Maybe it's the right heel or the right knee down. Exhale, step back, or just take one more breath here. Left hand plants down, breathe in. Exhale, optional vinyasa, or skip it out. I know it's a lot on the hands, so child's pose, balasana might be a really nice option here. Keep checking back in with the breath, with the mind, with our intentions, our affirmations. Being open and willing to listen. One more breath, and then we will do that on the other side. One more time. Inhale, sweep the left toes high, three-legged dog. Exhale, roll forward, left knee towards the nose. Set the left foot in between the hands, right heel comes down, breathe in, warrior two. Skandasana to the back, inhale, lift up, turn the toes. Exhale, lower down, shoulders roll back and down. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, breathe in as you push out of your right foot, maybe you launch straight into your left foot. Expand the arms wide. Again, left hand could anchor onto a block. Sometimes I like to hold on to my shin. How long can you get your right leg? Stork pose. Inhale as you lift your right knee high, turn to the front of the mat. As you exhale, right knee comes wide, hand comes underneath it. You might stay here. You can touch down at any point. If you felt like more, inhale, reach your right toes away. And then as you exhale, come back down. Two more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Hold here if you want. If you wanted the challenge, right hand could lift up, off. So you're really using the strength of your hip flexors and your hips. Right foot crosses in front of the left. Cross-legged Uttanasana. Bend your knees, in particular your left one. A little tuck of the tailbone. Inhale as you lift up tall. Hands overhead. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Slow the breath down. One more breath. Standing splits, shift your weight into your right foot. Inhale, left toe sweep high. Holding for your exhale, maybe right hand comes behind. Virabhadrasana 2, breathe in, left toes come back. Exhale, land. Utthita Pajrakonasana, side angle, breathe in, right hand forward. Exhale, your variation of choice. If you felt like that extra bit of effort, right hand could come behind the right foot. If you wanted to try in front of the right foot, you can. I'm a little too scared. Maybe someday. Left hand will come around the outside of the right foot, and then you aim to kick it towards the front. Now, it might look like it's going out to the side to begin with, and that's totally okay. Eventually, you will bring it forward. As your adductors open, as you get stronger through your shoulders, one more breath. Lower your right foot down. Ooh. Skandasana to the back. Breathe in, we're almost there. Exhale, Skandasana. Keep intentional here. Twisted lunge, breathe in, left hand comes down. As you exhale, right hand lifts up high. Walk your right foot out. Inhale as you pull the left knee towards the chest. As you exhale, kick it through, lower yourself down. Okay, again, this is where you might rest, you might chill. If you wanted to find your Ashtavakasana, your 8-angle pose, left knee will come high. Lift your left hip up. Left knee comes on top. I should also mention, if you do have your 2 blocks, sometimes it's useful to bring them out in front as well. Okay, you can bring your hands down just to give your hips a little more height. Once you get your left leg up, right foot will come underneath. You'll plant your hands down either onto the floor, or you could try onto blocks. Lifting your hips up, kick your feet out, lean your chest forward. And then coming down. Whew. Okay. Right foot down, left foot forward. Place the left hand down. Inhale as you lift the left knee up to the chest. Exhale as you step back, twisted lunge. Last time here, lower the left heel down. Inhale as you step your right foot back. Hold for your exhale. One more breath. Right hand comes down, inhale. As you exhale, your Vinyasa. Eventually heading into our child's pose at the back. Okay, walk yourself back. So, this is where we're going to have a play with our birds of paradise. If this is something that you want to give a go, having a strap or a towel nearby can be really useful, and maybe a block as well. So, to get into it, a couple of different ways. I'll show you one way and then we can do another way together as well. You'll kind of start in like a modified squat. Let's say the right foot's on the block. Strap is here. You'll bring the strap into your left hand. You'll lower yourself down, so bend your knees. Right hand will come in front, left hand will come behind, just like we did in our side angle. You'll shift your weight into your left leg, and then eventually push off your left foot. Come up to standing, and then from there, if you felt like more, right toes could lengthen out. Other ways is coming from our side angle. So you'll find your bind with or without the strap. My right foot is back, and then I'm going to hop my right foot forward a couple of times, shifting a weight into the right foot, lifting up onto your left toes, rising up through standing, and then maybe you stay here again, or you can extend the leg out long. So it's quite a challenging position for our balance, for our hips, for our shoulders, for some of us as well. Now, if you are feeling like super confident with this, you could try a standing variation of our Sundial Pose. I've only done this like once or twice in my life, but what you'll do is shift your weight into one leg will come up, just like we did in our seated position, aiming to get the knee on top of the shoulder. Hand will come around the foot, other hand will come out to help anchor the thigh down, and then you will push your foot up towards the sky. So that's a good variation if you've kind of conquered, you feel like you've conquered birds of paradise. Lots of ones to play with. It's also important that it's not just effort. Like, I think we believe that effort comes from grunting and forcing. Sometimes effort is knowing when to pull back and to ease into it. I think that's very resonant with this pose here. If you wanted to keep going, there is no rush. You can absolutely pause the video, take some extra minutes for yourself. If you're ready to slow down, come down to the ground. And let's actually, before we do anything, let's find a seat. So crossing the legs over. Maybe you're sitting up onto something, maybe you're not. Closing down the eyes. I think it's important after quite a long sequence that may have been physically, mentally, emotionally demanding, that we take some time in stillness to revisit ourselves if we've noticed we've drifted away. So in this seat, let's roll the shoulders back down a little more. There's a peak up of the sternum. Slight tuck of the chin towards the chest. And there's a gentle breath through the nose. You can still have your Ujjayi pranayama, the constriction of the throat, making that sound, or you might have lost it, that's okay. I'm softening the eyebrows and the eyelids. The jaw and the lips. Taking 5 more breaths here before we change our position. Opening the eyes very slowly. Try not to rush out of that. Couple of options for where we go next. If you did have some blocks here, we can use it to set up a variation of a backbend. you can put one block on kind of the middle height, one block on the top height, and then kind of bring that middle block to the back of the ribs, and then as you lie down, that top block will come behind the head. First option is to have your legs extended, and if you didn't have a block, then you could absolutely come into Savasana instead, so just all the way down. You could also be in a Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Another variation, which counters the external rotation that we've done today, is our Vinyasa, hero's pose. More internally rotated with this one. Knees will come together, feet come out wide. You might be in a seat. I know I'm throwing lots of options for you, but make sure you choose one that feels good for you. You could have a block underneath if you feel quite tight compression. But if you felt like you had space to roll back, you'll tuck your tailbone here, so scoop your pelvis underneath you, lowering yourself down, adjusting the blocks as you need. We're going to be here for a few minutes. So really check in, and if anything becomes uncomfortable, you can absolutely change at any point. Slowing the breath down. And if you're feeling any intensity or sensation in this pose, inviting a slow breath to help release some tension, activating our parasympathetic nervous system. Starting to take a deeper breath. I don't know about you, I'm feeling pretty relaxed right now. So let's aim to not disturb this stillness we've created too much. You might just bring the hands to the soles of your feet, tucking the chin in, lifting yourself up, walking up onto your elbows. Lifting your hips, sweeping your feet around, taking them out in front. Maybe giving them a little jiggle. That pose can bring quite a lot of sensation to our legs, so just making sure that we feel okay. From here, let's roll down onto our backs. You might draw the knees up into the chest, give yourself a little squeeze. You might turn the eye gaze or your head to one side and come back through center, turning the head to the other side, coming back through center. Lift your feet up towards the sky, and you might stay here. You could pop a block or two underneath your hips. If you'd like to head towards an inversion, maybe shoulder stand, Savasana, press your hands down to the ground, rock your hips up and back, hands come behind the hips. And let's lift the feet up towards the sky, squeezing the glutes. Long spine, and you might stay here. If you felt like a little more, you could, or something different I should say, finding halasana, taking the feet up and over the head. Maybe the feet are dangling on the ground, off the ground, or maybe they do touch down on the ground. Hands could stay supported behind the back, or you could interlace your fingertips, reaching your knuckles forward, rocking yourself a little higher onto your shoulders. And if you even felt like more, you could bend the knees, taking the knees outside of the ears, Kanapidasana. Ear pressure pose. Three more breaths. Maybe bringing the hands behind the back of the legs, back of the hips. Slowly roll yourself down onto your back again. We'll finish with a short twist on each side, lifting knees on top of the hips, inhaling through the nose. As we exhale, drop the knees over to the right. Eye gaze might turn down your left arm. Inhale, coming back through center. As we exhale, feet over to the left. Turning the right ear down to the ground. Coming back through center, sitting up for Savasana. Maybe that's legs long, maybe it's with the knees bent. Little tuck of the tailbone here. Tuck of the chin as well. Back is long along the ground. Softening the eyelids down. Slowing the breath.
We'll just be here for a few minutes in quiet. I'll let you know when it's time to transition out. Bringing some awareness back to you in this moment on the ground with the eyes closed. watching and observing as we experience life. Noticing thoughts, noticing sensations, feelings. But that practice of yoga is observing with no attachment, or aiming to find no attachment, no judgment. Of course, it's never going to be perfect. But we practice, we turn up, we come with intention. Let's breathe a little deeper. If you'd like to stay in Savasana for longer, go for it. Otherwise, we will make our way up into a seat to close out our practice together. Sitting up nice and tall, rolling the shoulders down. Taking this time to thank yourself for turning up. This was a long practice, a long time to be with ourselves, but it really is a gift. A warm hug, maybe, maybe not. Maybe we finish with our hands at the lap or hands at our heart center. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, lifting up a little taller. Deep breath out through the nose or the mouth, let it go. Thank you so much, everyone, for practicing with me today. Gosh, this was longer than expected, but I kind of like those practices, right, of just getting lost in the moment. Let me know how you found it, and I look forward to moving and breathing again with you sometime soon, either here on YouTube or on Patreon, where we have some longer classes as well. Take care.